We open with a flashback. The city in chaos, a kaiju tearing everything apart. Young Kafka and Mina are just kids, running for their lives. But then twist, it's not real. Kafka jolts awake, trapped in a nightmare where he's surrounded by Defense Force soldiers who now see him as Kaiju number 8. He snaps out of it, only to realize he's still locked in a room after his brutal fight with Chief Shinomiya Isao. Meanwhile, Reno, Iharu, and the rest of the 3rd Division are heading to their new unit. Reno can't stop talking about Kafka. No matter what anyone says, he's dead set on protecting him. Loyalty level, unshakable. Back at HQ, Mina, Hashina, and the entire defense force sit on edge, waiting for the big decision about Kafka's fate. Then we check in on Kikoru, who's been temporarily assigned to the legendary 1st Division. These guys are so powerful that even overseas forces look up to them. And at the top of the food chain is Captain Normi Gen, supposedly the strongest man in the defense force. Kikoru's pumped to meet him until she actually does. She finds him in his room, surrounded by junk, glued to his video games, and basically ignoring her existence. Not exactly the hero image she imagined. Kikoru instantly loses respect for the guy, until the kaiju alarm goes off. And that's when Gen flips the switch. He goes from lazy gamer to kaiju slaying monster in seconds, crushing the enemy with ease. His team isn't any less impressive. Almost all of them have combat power over 40%, which blows Kikoru's mind. But just as fast as he transformed, Gen's back to being a man-child. He Googles himself, sees Mina getting credit instead, and throws a tantrum. Real role model material. Back in confinement, Kafka spends 5 long days in limbo before being summoned. When he enters the chamber, he sees Kikoru, the entire 1st Division, and Chief Shinomiya waiting for him. The chief lays it out. Kafka will join the 1st Division to face a terrifying new wave of kaiju. Gen doesn't seem interested in him, but Kafka won't back down. He pleads for the chance to fight and prove his worth. Gen gives him one answer, short and sharp. Show me in the field. The ground shakes with a massive earthquake, cracking open a hole big enough to spit out hundreds of ant-like kaiju. The 1st Division gets the alert and gears up instantly time for another round of bug smashing. Captain Narumi wastes no time, swooping in like an action hero to save 2 kids from being turned into kaiju snacks. With him leading, the 1st Division looks unstoppable. They herd the ant kaiju into a neutralization zone, and Kikoru shows off her insane speed, shredding them like it's nothing. Then it's Kafka's turn to shine. He tries to transform into Kaiju number 8, but for the first time ever nothing. The engine won't start. And of course, that's the perfect time for Kaiju number 9 to make his grand re-entry, crawling out of the head of one of the ants like some horror movie jump scare. But wait, plot twist, it's not just one of him. Suddenly, multiple Kaiju number 9s pop up across the city like they've been copy-pasted. Things go from bad to worse. The ants they already defeated suddenly get back up, stronger and nastier than before. The city plunges into chaos. Kafka desperately tries again to bring out his kaiju powers, still nothing. Just as Kaiju number 9 goes in for the kill, Kikoru swoops in and saves him, proving once again she's an absolute beast on the battlefield. Meanwhile, in another corner of the city, one of the many Kaiju number 9 clones squares off against Narumi. No matter how hard Kafka tries, he just can't transform into Kaiju number 8. Total dead battery mode. So Kikoru takes the lead. As she fights, memories hit her mom, a legendary captain admired by everyone, who died in one of the worst Kaiju attacks ever. Kikoru had promised to protect her but failed. From that day, she swore to become the strongest, so no one she cared about would ever die again. Fueled by that vow, she goes wild, slicing Kaiju number 9 into pieces. Between blows, she figures out what might be happening. 9 is blocking Kafka's transformation. She signals him to try again. Kafka obeys, but the moment he does, his mind betrays him. In his subconscious, he sees himself as Kaiju number 8, slaughtering his friends. Fear paralyzes him, and once again, he fails. With their ace out of the game, Narumi steps up elsewhere, facing a replica of Kaiju number 9. But this copy is no joke. It learns every move he makes, adapting like a glitchy video game boss that keeps leveling up mid-fight. Narumi pulls out his gun blade hybrid, and when things get too heated, he activates his trump card, Retina 01. It's a power stolen from the very first Kaiju, letting him predict his opponent's actions before they even happen. Armed with this broken ability, Narumi slices through the replica like it's nothing. Meanwhile, Kikaru is still locked in combat with Kaiju number 9, but the creature only grows stronger. Kafka, watching helplessly, finally realizes the truth. It's not that he can't transform, it's that he's scared. Scared of losing control. Scared of hurting his friends, just like what almost happened with Kikaru's father. Kikaru overhears and fires back at him, "Stop underestimating your comrades and yourself." Her words break through. This time, Kafka transforms. Not just into Kaiju number 8, but into a version of himself that understands his body and power better than ever before. With new resolve, he unleashes a devastating attack on Kaiju number 9, loud, proud, and impossible to ignore. Kafka goes head-to-head with Kaiju number 9 and seems to finally take him down, while Kikaru handles the swarm of resurrected ant Kaiju. The defense force celebrates victory at last, or so they think. Suddenly, a Kaiju signal blares. The remains of Kaiju number 9 speak, admitting they couldn't kill number 8 and vowing instead to reclaim the Kaiju power. That's when Kafka realizes the truth. The body he fought wasn't Kaiju number 9's original form. The moment he says it out loud, the real number 9 disguised as a human inside the control room reveals himself and ambushes Chief Isao Shinomiya. Kafka and Narumi rush to help, while Isao unleashes the terrifying power of Kaiju number 2 stored in his suit. The fight is brutal. Kaiju number 9 keeps showing just how much he's evolved, refusing to go down. Isao knows his time is short, and he reflects on being a distant father to Kikaru. But if nothing else, he's determined to leave her a safer world. He cranks his suit up to maximum output, absorbing every blow until he's charged enough to fire a massive Kaiju number 2 style energy beam. The attack is devastating, but not enough. Kaiju number 9 survives, then devours Isao, fusing with him and stealing Kaiju number 2's power in the process. By the time Kafka and Narumi arrive, Isao is gone. Kikaru storms in, furious and heartbroken, launching an attack on number 9 as if refusing to accept her father's death. Narumi steps up too, preparing for a finishing blow. But before they can land it, Kaiju number 9 sprouts wings, smirks that he's had enough fun for today, and tries to escape. With Kafka and Narumi launching a simultaneous attack, but this time, Kaiju number 9 is ready. He sees right through their moves and blocks them with ease. Kafka and Narumi team up against Kaiju number 9. Kafka takes a heavy hit, nearly loses an arm, and gets thrown aside. As number 9 tries to flee, his arm suddenly rots off, giving Narumi the opening to unleash a full power strike that prevents him from hardening. Kafka follows with a crushing right hook, slicing half of number 9's hip, swearing he won't let him escape for Kikaru's sake. He lands a turbo punch that launches number 9 skyward. The two push back with a combo attack, but number 9 laughs and releases a monstrous energy wave that levels half the city. The strain forces his lower body to detach, but he survives, splitting into two forms and firing twin blasts. He mocks humanity for never abandoning each other. Kafka shields one comrade while Narumi defends another. Wearing Isao's stolen face, number 9 vows the Kaiju era begins next time before flying off with half his body. Kafka, furious, powers down, screaming at him not to insult Isao. News spreads of Isao's death. At the funeral, battalions fire in his honor. Narumi recalls the first time he saw Isao destroy a Kaiju with one punch, now burdened with leadership. Kikaru skips the funeral, weeping at her father's desk, blaming herself for weakness and vowing to grow stronger. Narumi promises to train her personally, making her the strongest fighter after him. Kafka overhears, clutching his wounds, and swears he'll kill number 9. At the lab, Kirusu tells Itami that Isao ordered a secret project to continue. Itami laughs about being stuck with the dirty work. Meanwhile, Kikaru spars with Shinomiya but is easily beaten. Narumi tells her she has 1 month to defeat all squad leaders, or she won't be ready for him. Hagawa kicks him for being dramatic, but Narumi insists training begins now. They also debate whether to accept Kafka into the force until a report on him arrives. Back home, Kafka learns his transformations are progressing, parts of his body no longer revert, and he may never be human again. Guards watch him constantly, yet he sneaks out on a motorcycle, visiting his old cleanup squad. He jokes about carrying them, tests a new chainsaw, and slices through kaiju remains with ease, while rookies struggle. Old teammates reminisce and bicker, but Kafka leaves, determined to fight. Narumi later confronts him. If Kafka keeps transforming, he may never turn back, but Narumi doesn't care. If Kafka loses control, he'll kill him himself. What matters is defeating number 9. Kafka agrees, ready after all Isao did for him. Narumi declares it's time for the defense force to strike back. Elsewhere, Hoshina prepares Kaiju number 10 to be turned into a weapon. Kaiju number 10 is finally restrained by the defense force, but unlike the usual brainless monsters, this one can think. Even stranger, it was supposed to be dead already, courtesy of Hoshina. Curious but cautious, Hoshina interrogates it about Kaiju number 9, and the truth drops like a bomb. Number 9 actually created number 10. Then comes the twist. Kaiju number 10 offers a deal. It'll spill key intel about number 9, but only if the defense force agrees to turn it into a weapon, one that only Hoshina can wield. According to number 10, he and Hoshina are the same, both living for the thrill of battle no matter who the opponent is. Naturally, the defense force hesitates. Turning a living, intelligent kaiju into a weapon sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. Nobody knows what kind of damage it might do to the human using it. Even so, Hoshina reluctantly agrees, realizing this could be their only shot at stopping number 9. Days later, Hoshina and his crew head to headquarters for a high-level meeting. Before it even starts, Narumi picks a playful fight, highlighting the rivalry and not-so-subtle dislike between their divisions. Inside the meeting, Hoshina drops the bombshell. Kaiju number 9 can create other kaiju. That makes it the most dangerous threat humanity has ever faced. To make things worse, number 10 wasn't even a finished product, it was just a prototype. If number 9 keeps going, the whole country could collapse. As if that wasn't enough tension, Mina reveals the defense force is about to test something insane, giving a rookie the power of Kaiju number 6, one of the deadliest numbered kaiju in history. The rookie in question? Reno. Everyone warns him it's too dangerous, but Reno pushes forward anyway. His first attempt nearly wrecks his body, landing him in the hospital after only partially activating the weapon. The captain urges him to quit, but Reno refuses. Finally, the captain lays down terms. Reno gets 1 month. If he survives training and proves himself in an actual neutralization mission, then and only then he'll be allowed to wield Kaiju number 6. This time, the spotlight shifts to Aiharu. Back in school, he was the strongest, the top student, the guy everyone looked up to. But after joining the defense force, reality hit hard. Suddenly, he was surrounded by prodigies Kikaru, others in the squad, and especially Reno, who kept zooming past him like lightning, while Aiharu stayed stuck in the dust. Now, to make the gap even clearer, Reno is chosen to wield the legendary number 6 weapon. The squad heads out to a neutralization zone for Reno's first real test, a kaiju with a 6.4 fortitude. The battle kicks off, and Reno charges in, but he quickly starts to falter under the weapon's pressure. Without thinking, Aiharu jumps in to protect him, only to freeze up from his own doubts. That hesitation nearly costs him his life as he gets struck down. Reno saves him just in time, thanking Aiharu for always having his back. Fired up, Reno's power skyrockets. He pushes the weapon to 51% output, almost defeating the kaiju by himself. But the team starts panicking at this rate. Reno looks like he's going to burn out, body and mind collapsing under the weapon's power. The captain calms them down, explaining that numbered weapons don't change you. They amplify you. They drag out your real self, your deepest drive. Reno pushes harder, even as his body begins to break down. Soon his mind locks up, leaving him stuck in place, trapped in the fight with himself. At that breaking point, Aiharu steps up. He pulls Reno back, literally snapping him out of the frozen state. Reno thanks him, but Aiharu flips it back. You hit from range, I'll set up the kaiju's core. Together, they line up for the finishing blow. Aiharu goes all in, working to expose the kaiju's core so Reno can finish it off from a distance. The captain and the others watch closely and notice something interesting unlike the rest of the squad. Aiharu reminds the captain of himself back in his younger days. His power isn't steady, though. When he's in the zone, his combat skills spike through the roof, but when he's not, they dip hard. The moment makes the captain think back to Kikaru's mother, wondering if he would have stopped her from taking a numbered weapon had he known what fate had in store for her. But for now, Reno officially passes the test. Word of Reno's success spreads fast to the recruits and even to Kafka. At first, Kafka worries, but then he admits the truth. Reno has been grinding non-stop to get stronger, while he himself has been leaning too much on his kaiju form as a crutch. That's when Kafka runs into Hoshina. They talk about how Kafka needs to stop transforming so often. But Hoshina realizes something: Kafka would turn into kaiju number 8 in a heartbeat if it meant protecting someone, even if it costs him more of his humanity each time. To help, Hoshina takes him to a cemetery to honor fallen soldiers. There, instead of just talking, he spars with Kafka, training him to sharpen his human combat skills so he won't need to transform as much and can hold out longer between shifts. Just as they wrap up and start heading out, Kafka spots something unsettling: a mysterious armored figure standing in the distance. Meanwhile, Isao is silently fighting to keep kaiju number 9 from taking over his body. Meanwhile, Kafka is stuck in brutal squadron-style training with Hoshina. The goal? To help him stretch out his kaiju transformations and cling to what's left of his humanity. Spoiler, it's way harder than it looks. During a break, Kikaru shows up to hand Kafka his terminal, the device he hasn't dared touch since turning into kaiju number 8 2 months ago. Nervous, he finally powers it up, only to get a call from Aiharu. Soon Reno joins in, and the two reassure Kafka that no one hates him. In fact, when he scrolls through the rest of the messages, all he sees are his teammates checking up on him. Relieved, Kafka can finally breathe again. Cut back to Isao, he's at his limit. As he fades, he hopes the new generation can face what's coming. And what's coming? A creepy shot of kaiju eggs ready to hatch. Soon after, strange kaiju sightings pop up all over Japan. Oddly enough, they don't attack, just watch, then disappear. The defense force scrambles with non-stop drills. Kikaru, stepping into her late mother's shoes, is chosen to wield number 4, a legendary weapon built for kaiju hunting. During lunch, Kafka bumps into Mina. She reminds him not to shoulder the entire weight of the world alone. She and the others have his back. But just when things seem under control, another kaiju in human disguise shows up, and this one doesn't play nice. It slaughters people on the spot, leaving the episode to end on pure chaos.